So first question I have for you, the UK&I Skip Barber League is among the most popular in iRacing, boasting well over 300 members, approaching 400. How much effort went on into signing members and advertising and just generating interest?
Well, the league's been going for many years now, and it's been running various formats before even the league functionality was available in iRacing. So really, my predecessors did a lot of the hard work. The guy who really probably did most of the league in the last sort of 3 or 4 years was a guy called Michael Dawkins, who used to be the UK&I, sorry, the Club England captain. He's actually moved to the States. And he handed it over to a guy called Keith Sharp. So between those two guys, I think a lot of the members joined up then. And so that when the league functionality, first became available, there was already a big group of people waiting to join. Other than that, I've just tried to keep the thing ticking along. And more recently, of course, the great coverage by the British Sim Racers TV, BSR TV, has meant that the requests come in every week to improve the size of the membership.
Wonderful. Good to hear that it's kind of self-sustaining at this point, now that it's so popular. How has the league changed since it was first formed? I don't know if you were around for the very first days, but more or less the same. Have there been radical revisions to rules and regulations, anything like that?
Well, I've been around the league now for a few years. I mean, when I first heard about it, it was a Club England, yeah, weekly championship that again followed a schedule. Um, and I wasn't in Club England. I was in those days there was Club England and Club Celtic, where people from Wales and Scotland and Ireland were in. Um, and Club England opened up the championship to Club Celtic as well when Host had started. And so I joined it sort of say 3 years ago now. Um, yeah, but I don't think the rules have changed at all. We've followed the schedule, which makes it easy for people to practice during the week. And thankfully, we've not had too many issues. So, we've changed the point scoring system occasionally. But I think certainly for the time I've been running it the last 3.5 seasons, the point scoring, etc., has remained the same.
And the race lengths and and the qualifying, all that stuff has stayed the same as well.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, I've mixed up a little bit in that some of the circuits that I know our guys like Bathurst and Obvious Choice Spa. We've added a couple of laps maybe to the weeks that run in the normal schedule, but pretty much kept it with the normal schedule, which is a nice race time of about half an hour. There's always been a qualifying session before that. We've probably got a little bit more rigid in terms of now always with the leagues coming along now always having it on a Monday night, always starting at 7:30, so everybody knows they can have it in their routine. Um, but no, I think we pretty much got it as it was first conceived.
And being in charge of a league this size can't be easy. What sort of time and effort goes into the maintenance of this league?
Well, again, I've inherited something that was really well set up, but yeah, of course, it takes a bit of time. I put up posts every week, and we don't just stop in week 13. We have a fun race, so essentially, it's a weekly business of running a league. Um, yeah, I make a post and I do an aerial shot from the track, and we have images, and of course with BASR TV coming along, they put up a link to the live feed, prior to the week ahead, and of course I assemble all that together in a post. Um, but there are other guys who help out, and most importantly, Luke Ridgway, who does the scoring for us. He does that, and Danielsa, which is a big help. So there's a lot of tools around that we can use nowadays. Um, and yeah, Luke does a great job in the scoring. I set up the weekly thread. I probably spend, an hour, maybe an hour and a half a week. In terms of organizing it all. Once a season, of course, you've got the big job of setting up all the races. In fact, I just completed all the race setups for this coming season this morning. But it's not too onerous. I enjoy the league and I enjoy helping our club have, a successful league. So it's not too bad.
Wonderful. And how often do you find yourself dishing out disciplinary actions against drivers? I've seen a lot of clean racing this past season, but with competition this close, surely there have to be some stewards' actions involved from time to time.
Well, I'll be honest and say I've never known any action having to be taken, any serious, disciplinary action having to be taken. I mean, of course, within the league, with the close racing that you've seen and witnessed, you get some people who feel that, some moves may not have been as courteous as they could have been, maybe a bit over ambitious. And of course, with some new guys who perhaps haven't experienced the level of racing within our league, they may feel or they may make moves that aren't normal within our league because the standard of driving is usually very high. Um, but I've been running the league for 3.5 seasons now, and not had to take any action. And I've been involved in the league probably for, I would say, at least 7 or 8 seasons. I'd have to go and check my diary how long, but I'm not aware of anybody having had to be disciplined. We've had the thread that I produce on a weekly basis. We have had some lively discussions, without a doubt. Um, videos posted, people feeling, moves were wrong, and in some cases they have been. But provided I see that the guys involved are taking it on the chin, realize they've made a mistake, uh, we let that ride, and I've not had to take any serious action against anybody. I think one of the things that helps is that there are a decent number of members of our league who have raced in real life. And so their real world experience, and particularly, Mark Mercer, who's been our champion a few times, he's got a very good way of communicating the reality of real world racing. And therefore, I think people appreciate that some real racers are giving their experience over, and maybe moves that they think are acceptable in sim racing might not be acceptable in real world racing. And our league, I would like to think, is very close to real world racing. Certainly in its ethos and the way people take it seriously on a Monday night.
Absolutely. And the racing I've witnessed during season one of 2014 has been ultra competitive while being extremely respectful. How important is it to the league that the racing is fair, and how do you help to cultivate such an atmosphere?
Well, I suppose I've kind of half answered that with my last answer. I mean, it is the fact that yeah, we take it serious. I mean, it's fun. Of course, it's fun, but it's serious as well. It's got a great reputation within the club. I mean, since the clubs joined together, the Celtic Club and the Club England became UK&I a few seasons back. I think it's generally understood that it's one of the most competitive leagues within the club. Certainly, we appear to have 3 or 4 of the top 10, top 10 racers within iRacing. If you look at the stats for the road guys, are the top 10 placed UK&I drivers. Of those, about half a dozen, up to half a dozen race in our league. So the standard is extremely high. But I think we're lucky in that, I suppose, there's a kind of embedded racing culture within the UK, much like the USA. I suppose any of the big European countries too, that we understand racing. We're serious about it, and we don't let things get too out of hand within our league.
And the future of the UK&I Skip Barber League looks bright, and indeed for iRacing as well. Where do you see the league and iRacing heading in the future? What do you expect? What would you like to see more of, less of?
Well, I mean, everyday iRacing has their pet things they want improved, and I'm no different. From running a league point of view, some of the league functionality could be a little bit better. You know, uh, Nowadays, a little example, we get quite a lot of requests from people outside of the UK&I club. Um, and unfortunately, I have to let them down. And I always make a point of PMing them to say, look, I'm really sorry, but, the league is just for UK&I members. And of course, with the coverage on the internet, more and more, this season, probably more than any other, I probably have to answer maybe, I don't know, 2 or 3 PMs a week. So within the league functionality, when you reject somebody, there's not a simple way to PM them. And I've said to iRacing in the feature suggestions, please add this functionality. When I press reject, I'd like to go straight to a PM to explain to the guys why it's not happening. That's a little thing. Much bigger, for us in the UK&I, we're used to, when we go to proper motorsport, as I will be going to Donington on Monday, we'll probably see racing in the wet. So we'd like to see the weather develop so that we can have more variable conditions within our racing. But the big thing for us would be, currently we've got 3 UK tracks. But iRacing are committed to scanning or have scanned but not released a further 5 tracks. I think they've scanned a couple of those. So if we could have those 5 additional UK tracks, we could almost make a Formula Ford. I see the Skip Barber as an American equivalent of the UK or European Formula Ford type car. And so we could have a more of a UK Formula Ford type competition. Of course, that would take us away from the iRacing schedule, and so we might not do that completely. But that's one option, and it's something I'm excited about. Being able to develop the league even further and making it, keep making it as special as possible.
Wonderful. Well, I want to thank you for joining me today, and I'm really looking forward to the next season.
Well, thanks, Justin. I mean, obviously, yeah, your articles have been a great help too. That combined with the BSR TV coverage, let's see the league go from strength to strength. We had a guy say to me, because I hadn't set up the races this week, are the races going to be set up for Monday? So I PM'd him back, said, yeah, of course. I said, you can put Monday nights in your diary for the rest of your life. We're going to be here.